guys, Ramsey here, going to do a tag today. This is the Comic Love book tag. So the Lazy Owl created this book tag, and I was tagged by the Codex Cantina guys. And I'm really excited to do this one. As you guys know, I just got done reading Berserk. I'm currently reading some different manga titles. I got Bleach and One Piece here. And I love comics. I love reading them. I actually have upstairs in the back of my closet, I have boxes upon boxes of comics that, I've read most of them. I was collecting them, and now I've kind of quit a little bit, but I still buy titles when I can. It was getting a bit expensive, and that's why I stopped going every Wednesday to get comics. But I had a few that I really, really enjoyed. So we'll jump into the questions. So the first question is, what comic book series made you fall in love with comics? And for me, it actually started with TV. So you have X-Men, the animated series, Spider-Man, Batman, the animated series, and Superman, the animated series. All four of those were fantastic. I loved watching those as a kid, and my love of those cartoons made me want to read more comics. And so I really got into X-Men first. Mostly that's Wolverine, and Old Man Logan, regular Wolverine, the Wolverine where he's with the X-Men. Anything Wolverine, I'm a pretty big fan of. And he is the main reason that I got into comics. So it was X-Men and Wolverine to start out with, and then, Spider-Man, Batman, Superman, those guys really got me into comics as a kid. Number 2, what is the most underappreciated or underhyped comic series? For me, I'm going to say that's Daredevil. I know a lot of people are big Daredevil fans like I am, but I find his arc and the way that they've taken his blindness and made it a focal point of who he is and how he has better senses because of his blindness and the things that he can do being blind. I just love Daredevil. He has the conflict between his spirituality and what he does every day, where he goes out in the night as an avenging devil. And I love Daredevil. He kind of gained a little bit more popularity with the Netflix show, and that was awesome. It was a great show. Probably the best one out of the series that they did. I found Daredevil to be the most enjoyable of the, I think there's 4 of them. Punisher was pretty good too, though. But I really, really love Daredevil, especially the Frank Miller Daredevil. When he did that run, that was fantastic. It's some great artwork, great storylines. One of my favorite ones that he did is he fought Mysterio, the Spider-Man villain, and Mysterio was able to do stuff to Daredevil because of his blindness that he couldn't do to other characters. And man, really messed with Daredevil. It was a great run of that comic. Number 3, what is your favorite LGBT diverse comic that you've ever read? For me personally, I don't know if I've read anywhere they're in a main character role. I know Batwoman is a lesbian, and I know Midnighter is gay, and both of those I do want to check out. If you know of a great one of the great ones that you like, let me know. I just personally haven't read any, and I would like to try some, but I haven't read any, so I don't have a good answer for that one. Number 4, what is your most loved comic book sidekick? And for me, everybody wants to say Robin. Robin is awesome. Robin has gone through a bunch of different changes. You've got Dick Grayson that turned into Nightwing. You've got the second guy? He died, and then he came back. He wasn't actually dead, and he became Red Hood. And then you've got who was the third one? Tim something. And then you had his son, who recently became Robin. And then in the alternate timeline, The Dark Knight, you actually had a female Robin, and all of those Robins were really, really cool. But for me, I like Speedy a little bit more because Speedy's had more of a interesting backstory. Speedy is the Green Arrow's sidekick, and Speedy, had a time where he was addicted to heroin. A lot of things went on with Speedy. He ended up losing an arm. They've done some really cool stuff with Speedy that, even though Robin is really, really cool, I think Speedy's a bit more fleshed out of a character. They spent some more time with him. Number 5, what is your most loved comic book publisher? For me, I would say it's probably DC. I enjoy their stories more. They recently did a reboot where the New 52 DC I didn't like as much, but when they did the reboot with Rebirth, DC Rebirth, I think, and it was one comic, and it actually brought Wally West back, and Flash and Wally West like have to grab onto each other, and he has to pull Wally West out of the multiverse. That was a really touching moment. Actually made me cry. It was so good. And so just their storylines, I think, are better than what Marvel can put out right now. I don't have a lot of experience with Image and Dark Horse and all those other comic publishers right now, but I'm hoping to read more of those. And Shoujin Jump has a lot of manga that I'd like to get into, but I haven't read enough of them to say that they're one of my favorites. But supposedly they're the biggest manga publisher out there, and I'm really getting into manga lately. So, question 6 is, what is your most loved screen to print adaptation or print to screen adaptation? And for me, it's going to be Berserk. They did such a marvelous job with the Golden Arc anime, and they actually even redid some of that into 3 movies on Netflix right now. And I will link below the somebody took the anime and the movies and spliced them together, where to like the anime is clearly better and we spend a lot more time in the anime, but there are some times where the movies did better animating the action scenes, where some of that will get placed in, but this guy did it shot for shot, did it really, really, really well. And I watched the whole thing again, and it's about a 5-hour YouTube video, but it's the whole Golden Arc. It's where Berserk shines. That's right. This is volume 1. Volume 2, Golden Arc, pretty much starts up. We really get Guts' backstory, where the Band of the Hawk it comes through, and really, really, really great. If you want to watch great anime and you have 5 or 6 hours to spare, it's for you. Number 7 is, what is the new or recently published graphic novel or comic that you're enjoying? I recently picked up one called Animosity. I'll put a picture up right here. It is really, really cool. The animals have become smart. It's kind of the reason I got interested in that book, Mort, which I have a review coming on soon. And basically the animals kind of team up with some humans and then kill some humans. And it's the idea of what's going to happen if this ever happened. I think mostly kids get off pretty easy, and then grown-ups get kind of eaten. But it was a really interesting comic. I read the first 3, and I'm hoping that they come out in kind of a collected form so I can pick them up and read them some more. Question 8 is, what is your most favorite person of color creator or comic? So for me, I grew up with the X-Men, and I loved Bishop. I thought Bishop was super cool. I enjoyed his like ripped, muscular, everything that he, came back in time, and everything he did with the X-Men. I thought Bishop was super, super cool. I love the episodes he was in the TV show, and then I've read a couple of comics he was in and enjoyed those as well. But the new movie, the Spider-Man movie with Miles Morales, I love that. That was so good. Me and the kids watch it all the time. And that Miles Morales character, I hadn't read any of his comics yet, but from what I saw in the movie, I do want to check it out. His backstory, it's enough different from the Spider-Man we know that I'd really like to check it out. A female Dr. Octopus. What was it? His uncle was the Prowler, I think. And I'd love to dig into his backstory and kind of learn a little bit more about his alternate universe. I actually read the Spider-Verse, which is like a big collected edition. It's like $45. But I had Marvel Plus for a little while, and I read all through that, and it was fantastic. It had all the different Spider people. Had Spider-Woman, Spider-Man, Miles Morales, Spider-Man, Spider-Man Noir, all of them. It was really, really cool. And I'd love to dig into that some more and read about all the Spider people. Number 9 is, what comic book world would you most like to live in? And honestly, most of them have issues, like big issues. And I pretty much like our world. Our world's pretty safe. We don't have aliens attacking or anything like that. The things that you need to have a story in a comic book is usually things that I don't want to happen in our world. But Fables, on the other hand, it was generally our world, and then the fairy tale creatures had come into our world and added a bit of magic to our world. I think that'd be kind of cool. I'd like to see that, or have the big bad wolf be a sheriff. That'd be pretty cool. And so I think that would be one that I would probably like. And a question that's not on here that I'm going to add just for my personal self: top 3 favorite comic book characters. So you've got Wolverine, Daredevil, and the Flash. Those are for me. Those are my favorite. And I would love to see in the comments what your favorite comic book characters are. Give me your top 3. And then I'm going to tag some people. I've got Angela from the Litters Science Alliance. She was recently talking about Check Please, which is an LGBT comic, and I'm going to check that one out. Geek on My Sleeve, Peter and Carl. Both of those guys I know read comics and manga, so I'd love to hear their take on this. And I don't know if I've ever seen them do a tag before, so I'd love to see them do a tag. And then Brad Proctor. I know he's read a couple Star Wars comics lately, and I think he's read a few more, so I'd love to hear his take on this tag as well. And that'll be it, guys. If you'd like to subscribe to the channel, that would be awesome. We're almost at 500 subscribers. We might do something for that. And then I am really, really excited if you want to join the Discord. I have a lot of fun talking to people over there. And if you want to see my reviews, I do Goodreads. I'm not super active on it. I basically just catalog what I'm reading and stuff like that. So if you guys want to join that, I'd love that as well. We'll talk to you guys later. See ya. Bye.